Hello, boys and girls. This is the 5th week of Lent. We have been discussing the transformation of a butterfly. I hope everyone remembers what that word is. It's this long word. Transformation is called metamorphosis. Last week we read the little hungry caterpillar, how he transformed from an egg to a caterpillar to a chrysalis to a beautiful butterfly. That one was a fictional book. This is a non-fictional book. And this book is actually, non-fictional is a story that is real. So it has to do with real butterflies. This is actually the monarch butterfly. This is caterpillar to butterfly. Let's see what it says. So a pretty orange, black, white butterfly lands on a flower. So this is a monarch butterfly. And this is a milkweed flower. This is the type of flower they love to land on. And they do that because they lay their eggs on the leaves of the milkweed. And then what happens is when the caterpillar pops out of the egg, that's all he eats. Let's find out. So it says monarch butterflies lay eggs on milkweed plants. This is a milkweed plant. This is the egg. And this is the caterpillar. And it says, guess what? The monarch butterfly, did you know that monarch butterflies, their eggs hatch in 4 days? So can you imagine a butterfly landing and then 4 days later we got lots of other butterflies? The hungry little caterpillar eats the milkweed leaves and it grows bigger and bigger. So not like the little hungry caterpillar that ate through apples and oranges and everything else. This one eats through this one little leaf and becomes this huge caterpillar. The big striped caterpillar is finished growing. Now it attaches itself to the twig and uses a pad of silk. So, a monarch caterpillar makes its silk pad and it looks like a letter J. So, here is what it looks like. He attaches himself to a twig and then he's forming a letter J and he starts spinning that little chrysalis around him. The caterpillar turns into a special hard shell called a chrysalis. This is what it looks like. So he starts to transform. And the ending result is this. This is a chrysalis or a cocoon. The chrysalis changes into a monarch butterfly inside the chrysalis. So the caterpillar it changes inside the little chrysalis. Another name for a chrysalis is a pupa. So once it's ready, the pupa actually starts getting thinner and thinner, and you can actually start seeing the butterfly. The new butterfly crawls out of the chrysalis. Let's see what it does. So here it is. It starts kind of chewing its way out and crawling its way out. And he looks kind of like this. And then, of course, this. The monarch butterfly's wings are folded and soft. The caterpillar changes into a butterfly in about 10 days. So once it's in the chrysalis, it takes about 10 days for it to transform into its new body. The wings are kind of wet, so it needs to be, his wings need to hit the air, and then once they hit the air, then it'll stretch and they will grow stronger. The pretty orange and black butterfly flies away. Monarch butterflies visit flowers to drink sweet juice called nectar. So here's your little butterfly, and they're landing on the flowers. And each flower has nectar, and that's what they collect. So now we're going to point out some of the parts of a butterfly's life. So we talked about how it first starts off as an egg. Then out pops a little caterpillar. Then it eats and eats and eats and becomes a big giant caterpillar. Then he forms a shell called a chrysalis. And then he's a beautiful butterfly. And that's the end of this story. we've talked about the reasons why we discuss the butterfly and the transformation, because he goes through a transformation of change. Just like us, we need to make sure that we change within ourselves to be better, change within ourselves to give more, change into ourselves to have better habits. When we go through the season of Lent, it's usually to make a change in our lives to do better. Now, moving on to the next part of our religion, we're going to talk about the Stations of the Cross. The Stations of the Cross is a story of Jesus' life before he was crucified. So our story begins with the Stations of the Cross. This is going to be uploaded, and mommies and daddies can actually print it out. It's actually 2 books, but we're going to just read it this way, and that way we can actually go faster. So it says the Stations of the Cross. It says this is what happens prior to him getting sacrificed or put to the cross. So it says Jesus is arrested. Jesus carries the cross. Did I put this in the wrong order? I don't think I did. I'm not missing anything, am I? It says, Jesus falls the first time. Jesus sees his mom, his mother. Simon helps Jesus. Veronica wipes Jesus' face. Jesus falls the second time. Jesus meets the women. Jesus falls the third time. The soldiers take Jesus' clothes. Jesus is nailed to the cross. Jesus dies on the cross. Jesus is taken down. Jesus is placed in the tomb. Jesus is risen. This little story is a story that you can read. It's the time prior to Jesus being nailed to the cross. And we talked about Jesus' sacrifice and why he has been put through this kind of sacrifice. He's actually been selected to die for our sins. And we reflect on that in this time of Lent. Something that's online for you guys to work on. It's that book. If your moms and dads want to print it out and you guys can color it, make it into a small book that you can read. But one of the jobs that we are going to be working on this week is kind of like the day in the life of Jesus prior to him getting crucified. So when you get this, there's a little sheet online, and this is him. This is Palm Sunday. This upcoming Sunday is Palm Sunday. So what he did, he rode into Jerusalem, and they showered him with palms. And if you can see, there's palms right here. Well, this Sunday is Palm Sunday. So if you go to Mass, well, we can't go to Mass, but we can listen to Mass online. But they're gonna give away palms at the church, but you can't get off. You can drive by, and they will give you a palm. Okay, that's for Palm Sunday. After Palm Sunday, then Jesus has the Last Supper. That means he ate for the very last time with all of his disciples. Next, Jesus goes and prays. He's conflicted because he knows it's going to happen. He can actually see the future. So he goes and he prays at the rock. Then Jesus is given his cross. He carries his cross. And then he's crucified. That means he's nailed from his hands and his feet. And then, of course, once they put him in the tomb, he actually rises from the dead. And does anyone know what we celebrate that day that when he is risen? If you said Easter, you are correct. So this is online for you guys to print out and copy, and then color it in really nicely. Cut it out and glue it onto a construction paper. Make sure that you do a great job. I've got another example right here. So you can use, of course, brown, or you can use pink. Some of my little girls use pink. Some of my boys use brown. So you can use whatever color you want. Just color it nicely and then glue it on. Remember to take a picture. Remember to post it and send it to me so I'll know that you did a great job. And that's the end of our religion.